Greetings, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Topic UFO. I am your host, Rick Schooler. And tonight we're going to be visiting with Mr. Scott Browne. Scott will be joining us from his home in the great state of Massachusetts. And he'll be here to talk to us about a few things. Number one, he has a new Facebook group that he has created which focuses on serious UFO investigation. I'm sure many of you who frequent Facebook know that some of these groups can get a little wild with the hoax videos and all the other trash that's out there. So Scott's going to talk to us about his new group. He's also going to talk to us about some of his thoughts and theories as far as how UFO investigators should be conducting themselves, what we should do, what we shouldn't do when it comes to posting videos on the internet. And then he'll be sharing four videos, I think it is, right? I believe 4 videos, recent captures within the last couple of months that he has taken. Some amazing footage, very, very strange. I think you'll find them very interesting as well. So stay tuned for that. I would also like to remind everybody that I really like getting your feedback. So if you are on Facebook, stop by my page. You can reach me at facebook.com/Rick.Schooler. And tell me what you think of the show. I take all criticism, good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter. If you have an idea for a guest, a subject, perhaps you'd like to come on the show and be a guest. And I would love to hear from you. So definitely take a second, stop by, and at least say hi. Okay, we will be back in 1 minute with Mr. Scott Browne. Don't go away.
It's a new thing, it's a fun thing, it's a swing wing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing, it's a wing wing. A brand new transgram fun thing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing. A fun thing. And now it's your favorite store thing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing. A fun thing. And every bum's gotta have one thing. It's a swing wing. A wing thing. A brand new transgram fun thing. It's a swing wing. A new thing. It's a swing wing.
Get Swing Wing, made by Transagram, where the fun comes from. It's a swing wing.
It's a what?
Welcome back, everyone. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our guest for today. He comes to us from the great state of Massachusetts, Mr. Scott Browne. Scott, are you out there, sir?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Hey, Scott, how are you today?
Thanks for having me. I'm good, Rick.
Excellent, excellent. Scott, you have been involved in ufology now for, 20 plus years, I think you said. What originally got you started in ufology? Did you have an experience? Did you see something, read something? What was it that got you started?
I had an incident happen to me, which I think is maybe linked. I can't really say for sure. It was back in 1987. I had just gotten engaged to my first wife, and we moved into a new apartment. And, long story short, she went to work. It was late at night. I had a kind of a paralysis, what they call sleep paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
I awoke and I was awake, but I couldn't move, and it felt like something was in the room. Now, at this point in my life, I had never read a book about the subject. I didn't have any interest in it. This happened again 2 weeks later, and I said to her one night, I said, I think this place is haunted. So she asked me why, and I told her. At that time, I was reading a lot of biographies, and I happened to go to the store and incorrectly put into the section where the biographies were was a book by Howard Blum called Out There. And so I picked it up and I read it, and that was it. And from then on, I've been chasing.
Wow. So, 27 years you've been involved.
Yes.
So you've brought some videos that we are going to look at in just a bit, but the way I think that you and I synced up was that you started a group on Facebook, and
Yes.
you were very focused on the fact that this group was not for throwing every YouTube video you could find up on this Facebook group. It was dedicated to serious investigation. Can you tell us the name of the group, of course, and a little bit of your inspiration behind it, the origins, etc.?
The group is called In the Field. And the reason why I started it, I guess, is kind of threefold. The first reason was because a lot of the groups that I had already belonged to were filled with a lot of, I'll say, misinformation, hoaxes, just everybody posting just the craziest stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of really, really got tired of it, and I got sick of looking at it. Now, that's not to say that all the groups are bad. I have a couple that I have respect for. One of them's run by my friend Ken Hurt.
Yep. Yes.
UFOs are real. That's another good group. Skywatchers. Anyway, so that was the first reason. The second reason was that I was finding a lot of people scattered around the internet that were doing what I was doing and pursuing this phenomena. And I wanted to try to bring all of those people together, in a setting where we could discuss techniques and equipment and the behavior of the phenomena. The third reason was that I felt that there was, really just kind of, I wanted to bring together kind of a team or a group and have them have a place where there wasn't ridicule and, the whole rolling of the eyes when it comes to the subject. I really had I don't discuss it with a lot of people unless they show interest. I'll talk to them about it.
Right.
But like many others, I've suffered, ridicule within my own family, and so that's another reason why.
Now, is this group open to public as long as they abide by the rules, or what?
No, they either have to. Well, actually, I just changed it a couple weeks ago. Any member can add another member. And, usually I put trust in the members of the group that they're, pulling in somebody that's serious about it, that, wants to stay on topic. I've had a lot of problems with people posting chemtrail stuff and, just things of that nature that I'm not saying I'm not interested in those subjects. I am in many of them, but I wanted to try to keep this group focused on what we were doing.
Right, right. And I know it's hard to do on Facebook. If you have an open group, God only knows who you're going to get in there. So having some rules and some gates, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
That kind of leads us to my next question. When we've talked about this on the show before, and that's the damage that these hoaxers, I'm sure we've all seen those videos out there. Many times they're college projects, for video, that type of thing. But they do seem to clutter things up, and I don't know. I just find them very frustrating. What are your thoughts on how these hoaxer videos damage ufology?
The thing is, I understand in a way why they do it. I think a lot of it is attention. They can post it up and it'll go viral, and they'll get groups of people, debating and talking about it. And I understand, but I mean, it's very, very hard to wade through the sea of, garbage, to find the real phenomena.
Right.
But then again, I feel that it's not only the hoaxer's fault, but it's also the people who perpetuate that and kind of like, they're kind of like an enabler. They pass around the videos and they know they're not real, but they just keep posting it, and it just drives me crazy.
Yeah, and many of them, they seem to make a circle every 6 months or a year,
Yeah.
I know somebody posted one on my page not too long ago, and I remember seeing that a year or so ago, and they just keep coming back. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
So as ufologists, as people that are interested in this subject, what do you think people need to understand? How do they need to conduct themselves to present a valid view to this subject, rather than a bunch of crazies talking about something that doesn't exist? Are there things people should do and shouldn't do?
If I see something and, I'm kind of iffy on it, I try to do a little background search on it, try to come up with where it originally happened. Some of these sites that post these fake videos, one of the red flags for me is that there's no background information, there's no location, there's no person answering questions about it.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that can cause you to have these red flags. CGI is, of course, very popular. We know that. And some of the red flags for me are, one big one is that the clips don't last long. They're usually, 30 seconds, 50 seconds. And I believe the reason is because it's time consuming. It takes a long time to make these videos.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them are very, very short and fast. And they usually end with the object right in front of them, which if I was filming it, I would still be filming it, and I wouldn't stop until it disappeared.
Exactly. They don't make sense for the stopping point. And, the other thing that I've noticed, Scott, is they simply look too good. You know?
Right. Right.
So if it looks too good to be true, it probably
probably
is, right?
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. And, if people would stop forwarding this stuff around, eventually, I don't think we'll ever get it to stop, but we will definitely get it to slow down.
Yes.
So the group that you started in the field, what's the ultimate goal here? Is it to provide a place for serious-minded people to do serious investigative work, or what?
Well, for me, it's we do a lot of comparison work between each other, and when we get into a discussion in there, we try to find similarities between geography. Why would they be in that area? Is there power lines there? Is there a military base? Is there a nuclear facility? And try to find patterns, and just really observe the behavior of what we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really like a lot of the members who come in. They've been doing it for a while. We kind of compare notes. We talk about a few things. And there's some really good researchers in the group that have actually been doing it longer than me. And, they've done some incredible work.
So if somebody's watching this episode right now and they feel they are qualified and serious enough, they could become part of this group. It's just not completely wide open group where anybody can join, right?
Yes, they can just click on the join button. It'll come up, and I usually okay it. I'll take a look at their page and see if they have an interest, or there's nothing really related on their page. I usually let them join anyways, and just hear them out. If they have an interest in it, that's fine.
Yeah, great. Well, I think it's great that you are taking the time to filter, if that's the right word, to make sure that the group stays focused on what really matters, right?
Yeah, that's a good word to use, filter.
Well, listen, I wanted to talk about a few of these videos that you sent me because I found them quite fascinating. The first one, I believe it's Strange Skies number 3.
Yes.
It starts off, I'm going to pull this up so the viewers can see this. It starts off at normal speed, and you don't see anything whatsoever. I didn't anyway.
It's very, very fast.
And now you slow it down to 12%, and then you see something going horizontal across the sky.
Yes.
And then 6%, and you see it even closer. What do you think this thing was? Because meteorites do not usually travel horizontally, do they?
Not any that I've ever seen in my life.
Don't think this is an airplane.
No. That actually was caught at the tail end of a 5-minute clip. And nothing was in the entire clip. except for that one object or whatever it is. And I actually almost deleted the clip when I happened to pause it to go take care of something. And when I paused it, I just caught a little bit of it in the frame.
Wow.
So I realized there was something there. It took me a while to isolate it and pull it out of there because it was so fast.
Could it have been a bug? Could it have been a bug that was close to the camera, but due to optical anomalies, came out looking like it was up in the sky? I don't think I've ever seen a bug like that myself, but I'm just trying to come up with some explanation for it, and I can't.
Well, to rule that out, it's winter time up here, and it's very cold. So.
And when was this taken?
This was just taken the end of January. No, about mid-January, somewhere around there.
Wow.
So, I mean, it was very, very cold out. No bugs. People have, said to me, well, it's probably space junk re-entering the atmosphere. And so that's why I made the comparison video to, meteorites coming in. The speed just doesn't match at all.
And this thing is dead flat horizontal too.
Yes.
I just don't see space junk coming in horizontally.
And if you watch it closely, it seems to almost for like a tenth of a second back up a little bit and then go forward again. It's very strange. Very strange.
Now there's another part of this video. Now this is a different shot or different clip, I believe, where this object moves from the middle top to the bottom left, but at normal speed it's moving extremely slow. Just the opposite, right?
That's actually, I don't think, the same object.
Right, it's a different object. This is a whole different clip, right?
Yes, it's strange because sometimes you'll pick up something that's kind of meandering about and it's kind of drifting along. And another thing that we really have to focus on too is trying to debunk our own videos. So, I mean, if I have the slightest hint that it's a bird or it's a plane, I won't post it. I'm used to seeing a lot of things that are in the air. And so I really examine it before I actually put it up online. So, you really there's a lot of tools that we use too to debunk our own stuff.
Right. And I remember when Ken Hurt was on the show, he talked about those tools, and the fact that you are taking the time to debunk your own videos is great. That's something everybody should do.
Yes.
Because I'm watching this thing, and it isn't until you speed it up to about 400% that you can really actually see this thing moving. Do you have any idea what this thing could be?
I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm only sure of a couple of things in all the years I've been doing it. One, there's something flying around out there. We don't know what it is. And number two, people are just not looking up. They don't really look up at the sky.
Right.
It's people always ask me, well, how do you see these things? How do you film them? I'm constantly looking at the sky. Yeah. So
that's the first thing you have to do is start looking in that direction, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if if you want to see these things, then start looking at the sky. I urge anyone that's out there that's going to listen to the show, pick up a camera, put it on a tripod, or just shoot random photos or video of the sky. Sooner or later, you're going to catch something.
I'm pulled up this second video here, Scott. Now, I think this is... Oh, I see. Okay, so this is actually... Hold on here. Let me make sure. I've got this on here. So we have... Here's one strange... I think it says Strange Sky Things number 4.
Yes.
All of these clips were shot during the day using an infrared filter on the video camera. This one was shot on the morning of February 4th, 2014. And originally normal speed here going from right to left. Now that one is moving at a pretty good clip at normal speed. And then you slow it down here to 50%. Now, looking at this one, the first thing I would say is it's an airplane.
Right.
You know, just at first glance. Obviously,
Right.
You did some investigation, and that's not an airplane? Is that what we're saying here, Scott?
Yeah. Yes. What we use is software. You can either have an app on your phone, which is really convenient. You point the phone at the actual object. If it's a plane, it will tell you the flight, where it came from, where it's going. If you use the app and you point it at the object and it doesn't show anything, then obviously it's not a plane.
Now,
and then,
does that software cover more than just commercial flights? Does it cover any airplane in the sky?
no.
Just commercial flight.
Yes, and you really have to keep your eye out for the smaller Cessnas and the things like that. So it's kind of, you try to rule it out. Combined with that, using what you've seen before.
Right.
I have a file that I keep that's filled with video of birds, Cessnas, satellites, so the comparison can be done speed-wise, the flight characteristics, how it's moving, how it's maneuvering around the sky, things like that for reference.
Now, where are all of these videos taken? Are these just outside of your house, or are you going out to some specific site? Or
some are shot right from my house, either set up outside in the yard or with the camera pointed out the window. But there is an area near my home which has had strange activity going all the way back to the 1960s.
is that right?
And there is a forest near there. It's known as the Brimfield State Forest. And over the last couple years, they've had 3 reported sightings right over the forest. So a lot of times we'll pack up the gear. We'll go in there in the middle of the night. I just went in there the other night. We didn't get anything, but it was very, very cold out. So,
Well, I'm looking at this one right now where it looks like you're looking out your window of your home. I take it.
yes, with the pine trees and the post of the porch.
Yes. Now this thing here, very strange. Again, going from right to left, at a very fast speed.
Yes, it
And that's 50%. That was at 50%. That thing must have been going very fast.
it's really hard to actually go through the footage and try to find this stuff, because some of it's only on 3 or 4 frames because it's moving so fast. Then other times you'll get something that's kind of moving around and it's so slow and it's not really flying in a straight line. It's almost as if it's kind of just looking around. I like to use the word meandering because it drifts around, and very strange behavior.
Now, I just pulled up this last one, and I believe it says triangle or orbs in formation.
Yes.
Shot with a video camera during the day, slowed down to 5% speed. 5%. That's quite a bit.
Yeah, this one was, like I said, it was another clip that I almost threw away because I didn't really see anything. I went back through it again, and I just happened to catch something going over that cloud. So when I pulled it into the software and I slowed it down, there was the triangle formation. And it's very hard to see, and that's why I pulled some stills out of it and put those at the end of the video.
And I'm telling you, that is just right on triangle. That's not a sloppy triangle. That's a triangle.
It's tight. It this has been caught before, and it seems that these so-called orbs, what we like to call them, seem to sometimes fly in these formations. There was a clip that was posted by, I think it was somebody down in Mexico just a couple weeks ago, where they're actually flying in formation, but they're in a line. And they stay very tight, and they move through the sky, and he's shooting it with night vision at night. And it's just incredible footage.
Now, this one we just saw of the triangle, no way that this could be birds, because they would have had to been going at supersonic speed, right?
Absolutely.
And, birds, can they fly in a triangle formation? Sure. But they're not going to be traveling at that rate of speed.
Not at all.
And I don't know what else that could be, Scott.
Yeah, I don't know either.
That is one hell of a capture, I got to tell you. Spooky stuff.
It is. It's, and I believe that's kind of why some people don't really want to deal with it, because they're frightened of it. For me, I think that, like I said, the incident that I believe happened to me, I'm not really sure exactly what happened, but I can tell you this: I was never more terrified in my life. And I, broke out of the paralysis, and I was sweating, and my heart was racing. And, the funny thing is that they say it's sleep paralysis, but it never happened to me till that point, and it's never happened again. And I'm 49 years old. It happened those 2 times within a 2-week span. So it was very, very bizarre.
Well, I tell you, those are some fantastic captures.
Thanks.
Now, do you have these posted somewhere on the net where people, if they wanted to go look at them a little closer, and they can? Or
Yes, my YouTube page is public. Anyone can look at it.
what's the URL for that, or the YouTube page name?
They can either search Scott Browne or Surfer Boy 55.
Surfer Boy 55. Scott Browne. Okay, and that's Browne. There's
Yes,
an
with
E
an
on the
E.
end of that, folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would suggest anybody interested go take a look at Scott's captures because they really are amazing. This is not junk. This is some real hardcore captures that, like you say, trying to find those amongst 30 minutes of video or whatever. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. So you must dedicate quite a bit of time, Scott.
It just takes so much to, sometimes the eyes are watering because you're staring at that video trying to see if there's anything in there,
Understood. Well, listen, Scott, we've come to the end of the show. I wanted to say thank you. Thanks for sharing your videos, your thoughts, the group in the field. I hope you keep going, and please let's stay in touch. And if you want to come back and give us an update in a few, we'd love to have you.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Rick. And, I'd just like to say, just throwing a couple names out there, the people that have influenced me. Allison Cruz, a lot of people are familiar with her. She's done some fantastic work. David Stinnett, he's a researcher out of New Jersey. Ken Hurt, of course. And Ted Phillips.
Yeah.
He's another one that's in our group. He specializes in ground trace cases. He's actually out at a hot spot where I won't mention where it is, but he's gathering info out there. So we can't wait to see what he gets.
I tell you, I mean, before we go, I want to ask you, what is your personal thought regarding these quote unquote UFOs? Do you think that they are attached to humanity in some way, or are they completely a foreign entity as it relates to human beings? Why do you think they're here?
There's so many theories out there. I think that they've been here for probably longer than us. I'm not going to say where they come from. I have no idea. I mean, a lot of people are. I'm a student of Dr. Jacques Vallée. And, so, I mean, the multiple dimension thing is really, with the work that they're doing with quantum physics and all that research, that's becoming more of a viable theory. But, I mean, I'm not really sure about a lot of it, but I know that a lot of it's invisible to our eye. And it's kind of nerve-wracking when you know that something is trying to be so elusive and keep itself hidden. And it's very, for some people, it's very frightening. And there's been times where I've been out there and I've got the willies, the hair stood up on my neck. I've seen stuff and it's scared the crap out of me, So I really don't know, but I know that they've been here for a very, very long time.
I think that's about all we do know about them. I mean, there's a lot of people that make some very extraordinary claims, but I'm the kind of guy that I need some proof. I need something. And,
absolutely.
And until then, I think the only thing we can say is that they've been here for some time because, of course, the stories and reports go back millennium. But I don't know. But I will say this, it's people like yourself that are collecting more and more information every day and help educating the rest of us. So for that, I say thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, Rick.
All right, Scott, have a great day. Thanks again for your insight, your videos, the whole bit, and we will stay in touch.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Open the door, you'll find the secret. To find the answer is to keep it. You'll believe it when you find something screaming across your mind. Green slime.
Show. I take all criticism, good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter. If you have an idea for a guest, a subject, perhaps you'd like to come on the show and be a guest. And I would love to hear from you. So definitely take a second, stop by, and at least say hi. Okay, we will be back in 1 minute with Mr. Scott Browne. Don't go away.
It's a new thing. It's a fun thing. It's a swing wing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing. It's a wing wing. A brand new transgram fun thing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing. A fun thing. And now it's your favorite store thing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing, a fun thing, and every bum's gotta have one thing. It's a swing wing, a wing thing, a brand new transgram fun thing. It's a swing wing, a new thing. It's a swing wing.
Get Swing Wing, made by Transagram, where the fun comes from. It's a Swing Wing.
It's a what?
Welcome back, everyone. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our guest for today. He comes to us from the great state of Massachusetts, Mr. Scott Browne. Scott, are you out there, sir?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Hey, Scott, how are you today?
Thanks for having me. I'm good, Rick.
Excellent, excellent. Scott, you have been involved in ufology now for 20 plus years, I think you said. What originally got you started in ufology? Did you have an experience? Did you see something, read something? What was it that got you started?
I had an incident happen to me, which I think is maybe linked. I can't really say for sure. It was back in 1987. I had just gotten engaged to my first wife, and we moved into a new apartment.
Greetings, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Topic UFO. I am your host, Rick Schooler. And tonight we're going to be visiting with Mr. Scott Browne. Scott will be joining us from his home in the great state of Massachusetts. And he'll be here to talk to us about a few things. Number one, he has a new Facebook group that he has created, which focuses on serious UFO investigation. I'm sure many of you who frequent Facebook know that some of the...
And, long story short, she went to work. It was late at night. I had a kind of a paralysis, what they call sleep paralysis. I awoke and I was awake, but I couldn't move, and it felt like something was in the room. Now, at this point in my life, I had never read a book about the subject. I didn't have any interest in it. This happened again 2 weeks later, and I said to her one night, I said, I think this place is haunted. So she asked me why, and I told her. At that time, I was reading a lot of biographies, and I happened to go to the store and incorrectly put into the section where the biographies was a book by Howard Blum called Out There. And so I picked it up and I read it, and that was it. And from then on, I've been chasing.
Wow. So, 13, these groups can get a little wild with the hoax videos and all the other trash that's out there. So Scott's going to talk to us about his new group. He's also going to talk to us about some of his thoughts and theories as far as how UFO investigators should be conducting themselves, what we should do, what we shouldn't do when it comes to posting videos on the internet. And then he'll be sharing four videos, I think it is, right? I believe 4 videos, recent captures within the last couple of months that he has taken. Some amazing footage, very, very strange. I think you'll find them very interesting as well. So stay tuned for that. I would also like to remind everybody that I really like getting your feedback. So if you are on Facebook, stop by my page. You can reach me at facebook.com/Rick.Schooler. And tell me what you think of the show.